Hi, happy Monday and welcome to this channel. Today we're going to be talking about the fragrance releases that have been announced over this past week and evaluating whether or not we want to get them and why. This is a series I call Smash or Pass here on this channel where we start off the week by just talking about what's new. So there is quite a lot to share today. I'm not going to lie, I'm so excited about a bunch of these. A bunch of interesting releases, especially ahead of Essence, which is where people or brands start releasing a lot of their new fragrances. So it's exciting to see a lot of these new releases being announced, and I can right off the bat tell you we have a ton to cover in this video. But if this is your first time on this channel, hello, my name is Anya. I love fragrances. I talk about them here 5 times a week, Monday through Friday. I also publish additional content on TikTok and Instagram under the username Anushka Fragrances, and you can also find me on Spotify. Yes, I do have a podcast. It's called The Fragrance Report. I launch a new episode every Wednesday, and I make sure to publish the video version here on YouTube as well for you guys to enjoy. But if you're interested in supporting what I do, then please head over to Spotify to listen to the episode as well. I truly appreciate it. This week we're actually going to be doing a Valentine's Day themed kind of week. So tomorrow I have a Valentine's Day perfume video to share with you, and then on Wednesday we're going to be talking about the history of perfume as it relates to Valentine's Day. So it's going to be kind of a Valentine's Day themed week, so I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say regarding that. But yeah, we have a lot to cover in this video, so I'm excited to share these with you, so let's get into it. The first fragrance is actually one that I'm so excited about because I saw this and I was like obsessed. This is from House of Beau. This is a fruity floral perfume that just launched, and it's going to be called Ave Maria. Ave Maria is supposed to capture the essence of magnetic beauty and luminous grace, opening with dewy gardenia, a floral heart with African neroli, before settling into the intoxicating depth of a Merlot wine accord. I am so excited about this. Not only is the bottle like absolutely stunning, but this fragrance also does have notes of the gardenia, like they mentioned, cashmere, jasmine, raindrops, neroli, sweet pear, oak wood, merlot, wine, and napa leather. I love this. Like, I love this so much. I need to get into House of Beau. Kristen over at Kristen Fragrances, if you're watching, hi. But Kristen actually is a huge advocate for House of Beau, and we met up at Scent Explorer, and she told me so much amazing things about House of Beau that I'm like, okay, I think I need to try them out. I need to try them out like more in depth because, like I said, I've tried a few of their things. I like them, but I need to get into them more for sure because this looks really interesting. And I don't know about you, but I'm a sucker for a wine note. Lately, the fragrances that I've been gravitating towards, they all have a kind of like an alcohol-inspired kind of scent to them. And it's not necessarily that I want to like smell like straight up alcohol, but I do think that there are different facets and different nuances in various wines, cocktails, spirits that can also be translated into perfumery. And it's a way to be a part of the gourmand trend without necessarily always smelling like a dessert, because I think in the past, fragrances that are gourmand usually by default almost will smell like a dessert, and I don't know about you, but I kind of got tired of that. So while I do love gourmands a lot of the time, like the traditional ones, most of the time I want to smell like something new and interesting, and when that happens, then I try to go for the scents that have like a bit of a twist to them, and a lot of the fragrances that I've been loving lately have a red wine note there. So I'm excited about this one in particular. So I believe this is already available on their website, but in general, I love fragrances that have wine. I love fragrances with leather, and I'm curious about the combination of those notes with the raindrops and the florals. I think this will be a really interesting fragrance to try. Next, we have a fragrance from Room 1015. This will be called Jasmine Freak, and I'm actually super excited about this one. I had the opportunity to smell this at Scent Explorer, and it is a mango dominant fragrance, and I was expecting to not like it because I feel like starting last summer, we had so many mango smoothie-esque fragrances come out. It would be either fragrances that smell like a mango smoothie or fragrances that had mango and then osmanthus like pumped up next to it, and it just started getting a little bit too redundant for me. But then I smelled Jasmine Freak, and I actually really liked it. So this has notes of mango, black currant, black pepper, sweet orange at the top, a heart of bourbon ylang ylang, jasmine Egypt, and then tuberose from India, and then a base of musk and cashmere wood. So I'm actually really excited about this. Again, I really, really liked it. I think it like just I think this fragrance did a good job of like balancing all the notes and still having mango add that tropical depth to it without it completely overpowering the fragrance. I thought this was really intriguing, and this was honestly one of my favorite fragrances that I smelled at Sun Explorer. So I'm looking forward to trying this fragrance in its full bottle form. Another release is by the brand Franchesca Bianchi and is called the Essence. This is going to be a unisex fragrance. A lot of you have recommended that I try Francesca Bianchi. I think it was on TikTok. I posted like a video asking if anyone knew of any lipstick fragrances, and I think like one or two people really recommended this brand. So that's why when I saw this, it kind of popped out at me. And looking at the notes, this does seem very intriguing. So I feel like this is the kind of honestly, I kind of want to get a discovery set from this brand and try them out because I see them pop up every now and then, but I haven't actually smelled anything from them. This particular fragrance will have notes of animalic notes, violet, suede, and isoe super. So honestly, this sounds like it would be right up my alley. So yeah, essentially, it looks like this is supposed to be a fragrance to use as a layering perfume with other fragrances. So I think it's supposed to, so according to the founder of the brand, this is about crafting a fragrance that represents the DNA of all my fragrances. I created this scent to work as a booster, a complementary product that can be used in layering to enhance the performance of other scents. It works in many situations, like when you have a scent that's on the lighter side and needs more oomph. You can layer it atop or underneath to add a strong boost to its projection. Crafted with precision, it possesses the strong animalic DNA of Francesca complemented by notes of iris. So if you choose to wear it solo, it feels more straightforward and simpler compared to the core DNA of other Francesca Bianchi fragrances, and it can be worn alone to provide you with a delicate, familiar character. I like that idea. I like that idea of having a fragrance that will amp up other fragrances and make them more make them have more depth, have like be more animalic. And I also like how they're specifically thinking of a fragrance that would layer very well with the other fragrances in their line. I think that's a really smart idea from like a marketing standpoint. And I feel like this would probably not be a good first fragrance to try from the brand because like it said in the brief, this is meant to be a simplified version of their other fragrances. So I still want to try this brand. I still like want. I need to check to see if they have a discovery set. But if you've tried Francesca Bianchi, I think let me know what are your favorites and what are the fragrances that you think I would like. Or just tell me your favorites. I'd be curious to know. But yeah, in general, this seems like a really interesting concept. Um, so yeah, I'm looking forward to learning more about this brand. So next up we have a new release by Billie Eilish. This is a celebrity fragrance that will be called Your Turn. This perfume is inspired, of course, by A Roll of the Dice, and this fragrance will have top notes of bergamot, cardamom, and ginger, a heart of night blooming jasmine, coconut water, and peach, and then a base of musk, Australian sandalwood, and isoe super. This is me being super particular, but please hear me out. I keep in mind I haven't really been super familiar with a lot of Billie Eilish fragrances. I've tried them. They're always like kind of like to me. Like I don't think I'm the target audience, and I also don't think that they're necessarily like meant for someone like my age. I don't know, but like I think they're definitely supposed to be for like the younger demographic. But I feel like just looking at this bottle design and knowing like how a lot of designer fragrances and a lot of celebrity designer fragrances have been going with their materials. I feel like this could easily be like that lightweight, plasticky, aluminum kind of material that just feels and looks cheap. There's the alarm again. So this is most certainly not going to be a fragrance that I'll probably enjoy, but then again, I'm likely not the target demographic for this, so this honestly would definitely be a pass for me, but I am planning on trying it in store. Next up is a new fragrance by Ex Nihilo. This is Spiky Muse. This is a fragrance that they specifically highlighted three key notes with in the marketing brief. So the three key notes are strawberry oak fir, which we'll talk about in a bit, the rose in the fragrance, and also the Virginia cedarwood at the base. So the fragrance itself contains notes of natural strawberry extract at the top, bergamot, pink pepper, a heart of rose absolute, rose essential oil, pistachio accord, and then a base of cedar, akigala wood, ambrofix, and tonka beans. So this is going to be a fresh yet gourmand composition with kind of like some woody, fruity notes, and it's supposed to be a more modern interpretation of the classic fruity floral pairing. So that's what it says in the brief. And now let's go into the keynotes themselves. So I was really curious about the note of strawberry opfer, and I might be mispronouncing that, but that's literally strawberry and then ORPUR. And so this is described as an innovative natural ingredient obtained through the extraction of byproducts from strawberry juice production. Unlike conventional synthetic strawberry accords, this captures the freshness of the ripe berries with fruity, green, and floral nuances. Then the rose is explored in multiple facets, apparently, and the rose in the note is derived from a few high-quality rose-derived materials, including rose absolute, rose concentrate, and also this is complemented with the molecules pomerose and rosifolia, which lends the rose note honeyed, spicy, and citrusy undertones. So pomerose, I believe, is also a note that smells kind of similar to apple, I think. And then Virginia cedarwood, sourced from the US, adds depth to the fragrance with soft, creamy nuances. So I do like it, actually, because this is information I got from Fragrantica, by the way. I do like how they're going so in-depth with the ingredients and with the notes themselves, because I think that really helps visualize what the fragrance could smell like, as opposed to just reading the fragrance notes straight up. And with these videos, obviously, there's only so much research I can do, but I always do my best to try and give you as much information as possible. Sometimes, naturally, I'll miss it, but a lot of my information comes from websites like Fragrantica, where I literally look at the articles and I read you what the articles are saying. And I do appreciate when these brands really just focus on the ingredients and go beyond just like the cookie cutter interpretation of this is what the fragrance is inspired by, you know? Not that like every brand has to go with this in depth, but I do appreciate seeing this. It makes me think that they put more effort into this fragrance and that it's not just a cash grab. Not saying that every fragrance release is always a cash grab, but I think you can definitely tell when there has been some thought behind the marketing and the conception of the fragrance versus when it just comes out, you know? So yeah, that's my 2 cents on that. Next up, we have a new fragrance by Guerlain. They're expanding their Aqua Allegoria line to include a new fragrance called Rosa Verde. This fragrance will be a summer perfume in the eau de toilette concentration, and it includes a bunch of really interesting notes, including top notes of bergamot, cucumber, and mint, a mid of rose, violet, and pear, and then a base of musk, iris, and a chypre accord. Now, personally, cucumber happens to be one of my favorite notes. I love seeing cucumber. I think it's just one of those notes that's like so refreshing and so beautiful, and you don't often see it in fragrances. I think I've only smelled it in like a handful of fragrances, not that many at all, and I'm excited to see it in this perfume. I also really like seeing mint because I think we've had kind of mint take a step forward, especially recently when it comes to feminine fragrances, because previously it's only really been reserved for like more masculine perfumes or more masculine scents. But in this case, it's nice to see like more mint fragrances towards like a woman-targeted audience. So yeah, I'm excited about this. I'm looking forward to smelling it. However, I will say this, like realistically, is this a fragrance I would readily have in my collection? Probably not, and let me tell you why. So I personally prefer Guerlain's Forte concentration. So they have the Aqua Allegoria line in a few different concentrations. They have the Eau de Toilette, and then they have the Parfum, or Eau de Parfum. And I prefer the Eau de Parfum version, which is the Forte line. And I actually do have Mandarin Basilic in Forte, and I really prefer it in that concentration because most eau de toilettes, for my nose, it just disappears instantaneously, and I just can't really, I can't really abide by that. Like, I just don't like that. if I'm going to spend a certain amount of like any kind of like money for a fragrance, I want it to kind of like stay, and I just do not like eau de toilette concentrations. That's a personal preference. But am I looking forward to smelling this? Yes, I am. We do have a new Linterdit flanker from Givenchy. This is going to be Angelique Rouge, and this is a perfume with notes of prickly paracord, angelica seed essence at the top, a heart of white rose absolute, and angelica, and then a base of patchouli essence from Indonesia, vetiver essence from Haiti. So this is going to be a limited edition release, and they were inspired by the traditional Linterdit white florals, but they added in the red angelica flower, which is known for its herbaceous and musky undertones. So it's supposed to be a floral, spicy fragrance, and like I said, it's probably going to have like that herbaceous, musky note in there as well. I'm actually intrigued by this. It is limited edition, so I don't really know how available it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be like available at Sephora or Ulta or anything like that. But this does seem intriguing. I feel like the Linterdit white floral is like so like it's like almost like a honeyed white floral, right? So I think it will be interesting to see how it is paired with like that musky herbaceous note. I think it's really intriguing. So I'm looking forward to potentially smelling this. I don't know if I'll like just add it to my collection outright because it is limited edition. And I don't like I'm trying not to buy like things on impulse anymore. But this does seem intriguing, and I think I've mentioned in a few TikToks and in a few YouTube videos how like my general prediction for 2025 is we'll start to see more savory gourmand perfumes. I'm not saying that this is necessarily a gourmand perfume, but I think we'll start to see a lot more herbal notes in fragrances, like herbal notes, tea notes, and I think that this is just another example of that. Next up, we have another release by Mugler. This is Angel Stella Eau de Parfum Lumineuse, and this is another flanker of Angel. So in the marketing brief, they talked about how they first launched Angel in 1992, and since then they've had over 30 flankers released. Yeah. And this flanker is supposed to celebrate women's multifaceted nature and uniqueness, combining both delicacy with power while highlighting a woman's innate charisma and radiant allure. And this fragrance will contain notes of bergamot, pistachio, and patchouli, while highlighting a woman's innate charisma and radiant allure. This iteration explores the vast cosmos of contrasting gourmands, but combining a trio of key ingredients to highlight a woman's duality, with the bergamot, pistachio, and patchouli, to add more depth and a solid character. Got it. Okay. I haven't tried this fragrance. I'm going to, and I'll likely give you my opinion on it. But I don't need a fragrance ad to tell me that I have duality and I have like a multifaceted personality because I'm a woman. Like I know that I have that because I'm not only a woman, I'm a human being. So like that's from my perspective. But I think it's really interesting when you have brands come out with these marketing briefs that like highlight the, qualities in a woman. We don't need to know the different qualities in a woman and how you want to highlight that, because I don't know how a pistachio is going to highlight my sense of duality. Like that's just my opinion, but like I I know that like big brands like huge conglomerates like L'Oreal and Mugler like need to sell fragrances, and a lot of times it's just easier to sell fragrances that are trending. But I don't know. Do you ever wish that sometimes brands would just admit that, like, hey, we're coming out with a pistachio fragrance because we see it's a trending note and we see it's selling a lot, so that's why we decided to put it in our new fragrance. I wish that they could just say that, but I also know that that's not good business, and there's a reason why they're doing it the way they are. I'm not saying I'm telling a brand to tell them like how to run their marketing, but it is kind of like funny because with all these fragrances that we're talking about, you can easily tell the niche from the designer. Not to say that designer fragrances are innately not superior to niche, but you can definitely tell who's being marketed to. So like in the designer fragrances, they're kind of like going for like the easy target. They're going for what will sell the most fragrances. But in the niche, they're kind of already going for their customer who has a better understanding of the fragrance world in general and is more appreciative of all that detail that goes into the notes. So you can definitely tell that there's a different audience. The L'Oreal conglomerate, because L'Oreal owns Mugler, The L'Oreal conglomerate will have a broader audience. Ex Nihilo will have a small audience. So I think that's interesting, and I think it's worth noting. They're just different approaches to marketing depending on who the audience is. So next up, we have a new flanker by Gucci. This will be called Gucci Bloom Parfum, and they've had so many flankers for Bloom. But essentially, this is a fragrance that has transformed into a dreamy garden of Eden, and it's supposed to essentially feature the note of night blooming jasmine. And essentially, based on like the marketing imagery, it looks like they're going for like the dark feminine, and I actually really like that. I kind of love that look. I think it's so interesting. Yeah, so this is supposed to be a solar amber fragrance, and apparently it's supposed to be more intense than the other ones. But this is going to be an amber floral perfume with notes of jasmine, tuberose, orange blossom, Peru balsam, vanilla, and amber. I'm looking forward to smelling it. I don't love all the Gucci fragrances because I feel like they're just not like that. DNA is not my cup of tea. But I'm looking forward to smelling this because, not gonna lie, the marketing has got me. The marketing has got me. That imagery is really beautiful and it does look intriguing. Next up, we have a new release by Dolce & Gabbana. This is called Limperatrice Royale. And this is going to be a limited edition eau de toilette that reimagines the original Limperatrice, which I know and love. But essentially, this is supposed to have a fruity floral character infused with more vibrancy. And this fragrance will have notes of cranberry at the top, a mid of azalea, and then a base of Virginia cedar. This sounds so intriguing. Actually, okay, you know what? I love cranberry. Like, I love the smell of cranberries, and I would love to see it like more cranberries in fragrances. As many of you already know, I love Linterdit, and I love that they're adding a cranberry note to the scent composition because I do think that that's actually a really thoughtful and a really interesting way of reincorporating like the sour tartness of Linterdit in a new and contemporary way. Because if you've never smelled Limperatrice before, it kind of like has like this sour, fruity quality to it that is so beautiful, especially in the warm weather. And that's what really drew me to the fragrance. That's what makes it really unique in my opinion. So I'm excited to see that reimagined in like this new fragrance in like a cranberry form. So this is actually something I'm really looking forward to. It sucks that it's limited edition. But yeah, it is available already, and I wish, not gonna lie, I don't love the bottle design. I think it looks a little bit cheap, but I haven't seen it before. Like, I haven't touched it, I haven't felt it, so I don't know. But it does look a little bit cheap. Not a fan of that, but I also don't know what else they could have done, to be honest, because like, you know, like the classic Linterdit bottle, it's so basic, but like, I love Linterdit, so I am looking forward to trying this out. I'll check to see if they have it at Ulta, and then I'll go to Ulta and I'll try it because I'm so intrigued by this. It's already available. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm actually really looking forward to like potentially trying this out because I love cranberries. I think I only have cranberries in like one fragrance, and that's it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. So next up, we have two new releases from Jean-Paul Gaultier. These are going to be Scandal for women and also Scandal for men. So I'll get into the women in a moment, but but Scandal Intense for men is going to be an aromatic, woody, and leather fragrance with top notes of sage, followed by notes of vetiver and also vetiver in the base. So there's that. And then I love a leather fragrance, by the way. Can't you tell? Feminine version is going to be a fragrance with notes of ylang-ylang at the top, a heart of vanilla, and then a base of cardamom. That sounds promising. I love cardamom in fragrances, and it's nice to see that come up in this one. So yeah, it does seem promising. I haven't tried too much of Jean-Paul Gaultier fragrances, but this one does seem promising. Let me know. Have you tried them out? What are your preferences? Do you like the house? Yeah, I'm intrigued. Next up, we have a new fragrance by Armani. This is going to be a Middle Eastern exclusive for men called Stronger With You Sandalwood Edition. So this is going to be a fragrance that features a top note of saffron, a heart of lavender and chestnut, and then a base of sandalwood and vanilla. So this perfume does feature the chestnut note, which is a mainstay in the other Stronger With You fragrances, so it's kind of like their signature in the line. I personally do not have a lot of experience with this line. I kind of did a cursory search on Stronger With You's lineup on Fragrance YouTube, and I kind of like watched a few videos, and I think that this line is known to be like one of the better men's fragrances out there. So yeah, I think I've heard good things. But if you're a guy and you've tried this, or if you're a girl and you have experience with this line, let me know. Would you recommend testing it? I'd be curious to hear your thoughts. And then we also have a new release by Simone Andreoli. This is going to be called Tulum Junglescape. Now, Simone Andreoli, they're pretty much known for their tropical fragrances, and this doesn't look like it's an exception whatsoever. But this is inspired by Foliage by the Sea, which is really intriguing. So I kind of love that. But this has key notes of lime, sea salt, mint, exotic fruits, tiara flower, ylang-ylang, green tea, and precious woods. We have been seeing green tea so much lately. It's definitely going to be one of those highlighting or highlight fragrance notes in 2025 for sure. But this does sound very intriguing. I love the Simone Andreoli fragrances. To be honest, I really want to get one of them, especially for the summertime. But I'm so indecisive about which one I want to get because I know that Leisure in Paradise is like the most famous one that everyone knows about. And I've tried it and I really like it, but I'm kind of like thinking, should I get something else? I don't know. If you have Simone and Dior fragrances, which ones would you recommend? Do you think Leisure in Paris is overhyped? Or Leisure in Paris? Oh my god. Do you think Leisure in Paradise is overhyped? I want to know. And are you excited about this one? And if you guys happen to go to Essence and try this fragrance out, because I think they'll be there, let me know how it is, because I'm genuinely curious. That lime does look very tempting. And there's also, yeah, mint and tea in it. Yeah, I really want to try this. So yeah, this is very intriguing for sure. Whew, that is it for this video. That is it. That was a long video to film. I've been sitting here for almost an hour just filming this one video. So yeah, this is going to be a big one to edit. A lot to cover, a lot to talk about. Let me know what fragrances out of this lineup are you the most excited about? What has really piqued your attention? I'm curious to hear your thoughts, but thank you so much for watching until the end of the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.